Hey, Fort Smith, welcome to Give Me 5 minutes with Fort Smith City Director Neil Martin, where we talk about the events that happened last week and we look ahead to what's going on this week. Let's go ahead and jump in. Last Tuesday, we had a study session, a lot of important things in regards to the study session. First off, we were presented with the 2025 budget. So we get all the summary information, we get all the details, a lot of pages. So we get a chance to start looking through that as we probably look toward November in going over that as a board. We spend all day normally and we just walk through the budget. So we got that. We also talked a little bit about the departmental service objectives for 2025, but then we looked at the capital improvement plans, the 5-year plan for streets, bridges, and drainage, parks and rec, fire. And we also looked at the 10-year for streets and traffic control. We also went over the transit asset management plan. So there's a lot of things there. I was not at the meeting. I was out of town. And so I didn't get a chance to be there, but I encourage you to go to fortsmithar.gov/watch. There you can see that full agenda. You can see all the discussion, all the questions that happened. There was also a citizens forum, and I encourage you to watch the citizens forum. There's a number of speakers that presented or that came and talked to the board, and we just get an opportunity to hear from citizens. So we did that last Tuesday. This Tuesday, we have a regular board meeting. This is a voting meeting where we're going to vote on a number of items. Now, this meeting will be at the Blue Lion, 101 North 2nd Street in downtown Fort Smith. And again, I encourage you to go to fortsmithar.gov/watch. You can see the full agenda. You can see everything we're going to talk about. That's also where you can watch it online. I'm only going to hit on a few things, but this one is really consent decree heavy, streets heavy, and just some other things. So I'll try to hit on a few of these real quick and give you a little taste of what we're going to be talking about. First, we'll be voting to authorize our city administrator to apply for grant funding for community noise mitigation program. This is specifically around schools as it relates to the F-35 mission and the increased volume with the F-35s that'll be flying around. We'll also be voting for having a discussion on the second Tuesday of each month, our first study session of the month. Devote that specifically to water and sewer utility issues. Now, staff is recommending that this be tabled. I'm not really sure why. We'll get more information on that on Tuesday, but that was one of the things that the board said. Instead of having a utility commission, we wanted to devote a study session specifically to water and sewer. I think the citizens want to hear that, and I think that's important for us. So we'll be voting on that on Tuesday. We will be, there's also an item to amend the 2024 operating budget to add an additional $50,000 from the general fund to fund our spay and neuter program. This has been pretty successful. About 1,500 animals have been spay or neutered through this program. Hopefully a long-term solution to helping decrease our stray animal population. So we'll be voting on that. Then we have a number of consent decree related projects related to sanitary sewer assessment, remedial measures, specific projects. I mean, just a lot of things going on. We'll also be voting to accept a bid and authorize a contract for our 2024 street overlays / reconstruction. That would be Meandering Way and 87th Street, which is off of Haran over on the east side of town. So about $2.3 million for resurfacing of those roads. We'll also be voting to acquire water line easements as we build that 48-inch water transmission line down from Lake Fort Smith over to the east side of town, or connecting in over to the east side of town to supply enough water for our city. So it's small dollars. It's $39,000 to acquire those easements, but this potentially helps extend phase 3 of the water transmission line, that 48-inch water transmission line coming down from Lake Fort Smith over to Fort Smith. So that's just a few of the things. Well, I also encourage you to pay attention to the officials forum. That's a portion at the end of every voting meeting where board members get to bring up anything that they want to talk about, anything that that they've heard from citizens or citizens have made them aware of. So I encourage you to do that. I'll have some items from the for the officials forum, specifically about the smell in Fort Smith. That's one of the things that I want to tackle. Seeing if there's anything we can do legally to prevent that smell that a lot of people have been complaining about. See what we can do to mitigate that to where it never happens again. It's very frustrating for you, and it's very frustrating for me. So that's one thing I'll bring up. There'll be some other things. So I encourage you to always listen to the officials forum. That's it for this week's Give Me Five. I hope the information was informative and made you better aware of the items that are in front of your board of directors. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, and then we will do this again next Sunday on Give Me Five.